Good morning, everyone. To begin our close reading today, I wanted to remind you of the book that we read earlier this school year called The Day War Came by Nicola Davies. So if you guys remember, this was about a young girl whose life is turned upside down because war has come to her town and now she has become a refugee. So we have done some learning around what a refugee is. And I wanted us to think about that because we are going to be reading a text today called A Place to Call Home. And this is again from Scholastic News. And just from looking at the blurb, Tanny and his family fled to America to escape danger. A year later, he became a chess champ and changed their lives. Okay, so we see the subheadings now: escaping danger, game changer, a new home. Then it says refugees and immigrants. So we know that this is definitely a refugee story as well. And then just from looking at this image of him, Tanny, I guess is his name here, I see him holding a chess piece. He looks really happy. The blurb tells us that he becomes a champ. So it's definitely a story where we're going to hear his story and we're going to hear how he became a champ. So let's remind ourselves what we look for when we read narrative nonfiction. We are going to be thinking about character and character traits, main idea, content vocabulary, text features, lesson, and author's craft. So I definitely see some text features already. I see a map here telling us Nigeria and Africa, so maybe that's where his family came from. And we see pictures with captions. And here we have a sidebar that teaches us about refugees, and underneath it says immigrants. And it even gives us like a word box here. So in the word box, we see the word terrorist, people who violently attack innocent people to accomplish a goal. And we see novice, a person who has just started learning or doing something. Okay, I think we're ready to begin reading the text. All right, follow along as I read it. And again, I'm going to put this document under the video so that you guys can read it on your own. He couldn't believe it. Last March, Tanny Adewumi won a New York State chess championship. He just learned how to play the game about a year earlier, and he was competing against players who had a lot more experience, so no one expected him to win. Tanny didn't realize it at the time, but that victory would change his life. So already I see it's a very effective introduction and it's hooking me right in. I want to see how that victory is going to change his life. That's my thinking right now, and it's making me want to keep reading. Escaping danger. Okay, so the text starts by telling me about him competing, but now it goes back, so almost like a flashback to where his story first started. Escaping danger. Less than 2 years earlier, Tanny and his family had been living in Nigeria, a country in Africa. Tanny was born in the war-torn nation where terrorists have been launching deadly attacks for more than 10 years. The family was constantly afraid for their lives and knew they had to escape the danger. They fled Nigeria in 2017. We didn't carry that much with us, Tanny recalls. We just left for a new life. The family arrived in New York City 6 months later with a little more than the clothes on their backs. Though Tanny's parents got jobs, they couldn't afford to rent an apartment. They had no choice but to move into a homeless shelter. Well, already I see that the text is describing a lot of the struggles for Tanny and his family. Tanny and his older brother, Austin, share a room on a different floor than their parents. They didn't have a TV to watch or a fridge to grab a snack from when they were hungry. It was rough, Tanny says. Okay, and let's look at this picture down here, and let's look at what we need to know about Tanny. what Tanny wants you to know. People were generous to my family. We're giving back by helping others. Everyone needs help sometimes. Don't give up on your goals. The first tournament I played in didn't go well, but I never stopped trying. Okay, so definitely hearing like some theme here. Talent alone won't get you far. You might get lucky once in a while, but it takes hard work to succeed. Game changer. As Tanny adjusted to a new country and learned a new language, he also started a new school. He didn't know anyone, but he found a group to connect with, the chess club. The chess club met every Thursday for 2 hours. Every night after he finished his homework, Tanny would lie on the floor of the shelter and practice for 3 more hours. All that hard work paid off when he took home the trophy at the tournament last year. It was so big I couldn't carry it, Tanny remembers. Okay, so now I see this part's connecting right back to the beginning. We're getting the part where he won the tournament. A new home. Tanny wound up with more than just a trophy. His quick rise from novice to champ caught the attention of a reporter from the New York Times, one of the biggest newspapers in the country. When his story appeared in the news, people around the world donated more than $200,000 to help the Adewumis, and I know that's the family's last name, so it must mean that the family received this money. But the family didn't keep any of it. Instead, Tanny's parents used the money to set up an organization to help other refugees like them. Someone who was inspired by Tanny's story even offered to pay the rent on an apartment for a year. Tanny finally had a place to call his own. And I know this is important because I learned in the earlier part under escaping danger, right over here, that his family was living in a homeless shelter. Now the 4th grader has a kitchen where his mom cooks his favorite meals and a laptop for practicing chess. He has big sights set on this year's state championship, though last year's tournament will be pretty hard to top. It's completely changed my life, Tanny says. Trisha Culligan is the author of this text, and we see the Adewumis right here. There's a picture of them. Look at that. So I invite you to revisit the text, and this time you're going to read the sidebar, reread it, and mark it up as you go. After that, you'll have an exit ticket to work on. Good luck, guys. Have a great day.